Hello and welcome to an all-new episode of Anime Brain Freeze. We are your spectacular hosts.
I am John.
And I'm CC, and when there's just too much cool anime to watch, we've got you covered. Today we return to our favorite patchwork family of spies, assassins, and aspers to discuss the new season of Spy Family. And of course, since it's our season finale, we will name our choices for best anime of the season. But before all of that, there are a couple of mini reviews we have to tackle in the Quick and the Dead. So pack your most convincing disguise, don't forget your precog dog, because who can do without one these days, and definitely don't pause the pod. We'll be right back. So yeah, as we said, we will be doing less full reviews of shows that only one of us watched. So of course we also have a couple more shows than usual in the Quick and the Dead, especially on my side of things. So I have 3 shows, John has 2, so I'm gonna start us off. And the first show that I checked out, and I'm not gonna do a full review of, is Sanda.
That show.
Yes, 12-episode show from Paru Itagaki, the author of Beastars. Beastars came before this, Sanda came after, but it's already finished, which is great. It's good to hear. So hopefully we'll get a full anime adaptation of this, which I don't think the first season covers everything, if I'm not mistaken. It would be weird if it really ended where it ended, so I doubt that's gonna be it. Because there are still a lot of mysteries to uncover and everything, even though technically the main setup and conceit of that the show starts with is kind of wrapped up in a way, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So what is this show about? If you listen to the sneak peek, you already know. So it's about this girl called Fuyumura who recently lost her best friend, Ono. And she's trying to get her back. And what else to do than to stab a classmate to make that happen?
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. No, well, it makes more sense than you think, because that classmate, turns out, is the descendant of Santa Claus. Because, naturally. And if he has red on his clothes, he turns into a version of Santa Claus, I guess. A buff version, a daddy version, and and with special powers and everything that match what Santa can do. For example, he's impervious to heat because Santa has to climb through the chimney, right? And some of those are lit, so it makes sense that he's impervious to that. He can sprout these sleigh runners from his feet that he can use like swords for some reason. But that's what he does, and so a bunch of weird shit that he can do. And, well, his mission, as Santa's mission would be, is to fulfill the wishes of children. And since Fuyumura, like, after removing the curse that kept that shit unbottled or bottled or whatever, his powers restrained after she lifts it. Who put that curse there, we still don't know. But after she lifts that curse, he is restored to his powers, has to come to the terms with sometimes living and looking like an old man, getting farsighted because of his age, and stuff like that. So, it's a wacky show. It's a really wacky show, but it's really fun. And, I mean, it's kind of par for the core if you've seen Beastars, which is also a very weird show with a lot of interesting things it does and unusual things. So it's not like a straightforward shonen thing or everything. There are some battles in this, some action-heavy battles, but really only 2, and it's technically the same people fighting against each other. It's Sanda, and the headmaster of the school, Oshibu, who is like this weird, the weirdest, creepiest motherfucker on the planet. It's like this guy who is 92 years old or something, but since this is a world where everyone is obsessed with youth, he has like done several plastic surgeries to himself so that his face is kept young. Everything in his body is artificial except for his hands, because for some reason medical tech hasn't found a way yet to replace hands or to rejuvenate them properly, apparently. So his hands are the only old thing on his body, and they look like wrinkled and ancient, and everything else looks super young. But he also is super, like I said, super creepy because he has so much, I don't know, collagen and I don't know what else, and Botox and shit in his face that he can't really do anything but smile anymore. And of course, he doesn't feel any pain really anymore. And it's that guy is one of the creepiest anime antagonists I've ever seen. He's really fucked up. Like, he's basically a cyborg. He has like artificial eyes and everything. So he's there and he says he wants to protect the innocence of the children and whatever. But of course, he has very sinister motives for everything he does. And so he and Sanda go at it several times. But mainly this is about Fuyumura, the girl who's like a weirdo because, of course, she stabbed Sanda to get him to turn to powers. She doesn't really think a lot of her plans through. Like, she gets really freaked out once she realizes that he doesn't immediately turn into Santa Claus after she stabs him and he is starting to bleed out. And she's like, holy shit, what have I done? Yeah, maybe... maybe there were other ways.
No, why would you think 3 steps ahead?
Yeah, she's a real, shoot first, ask questions later kind of girl. Literally, that's what she does. She also throw grenades first, stab first, like strap a bomb to her own body first. Stuff like that to get what she wants. And so Sanda has his hands full trying to keep her in check and fulfill her wish of, reuniting her with her friend who everyone has declared dead, but she's the only one who believes that Ono isn't dead yet. So that's one of the main driving plots, and that's definitely kind of resolved by the end of this first season, that plot thread. So that's really interesting. And it's a super fun show. Like, it's crazy, it's wild, it's wacky. It looks the part because it's animated by Science Saru, who have always a very unique style and partially very experimental. That also shines in this shines through in this show. Very sketchbook-esque in certain parts with a lot of thick, sharp black outlines. Very nice color work. Especially in Sanda's first transformation, where everything is black and white except for the red blood stain on his chest wound, and these high contrast scenes with other colors, but definitely with red several times, happen in the show a lot. The soundtrack is very interesting as it contains many instrumental remixes of famous Christmas songs, sometimes almost unrecognizable because they have been made to sound more menacing or triumphant or what have you. Like, there's a dark version of Joy to the World, for example, where danger is afoot. It's really cool. It's like really, it's like set in some kind of minor transposition or whatever. It sounds like really, really menacing. Like, every time that theme plays, you're like, oh no, that is not, no, that's not joy that's coming to the world. Absolutely not. So it's like the show has fun with the theme. Like, there's a lot of funny things, like Sanda trying to reckon with a lot of the emotions that come with being Santa, and how those are not necessarily don't necessarily sync up with his own emotions as Sanda, as the young person, because they have different goals. Like, Sanda has romantic feelings for Fuyumura, but when he is Santa Claus, he feels kind of sick inside when he feels these things, because he can't feel these things, because Santa, before Santa, all children are equal, and the only thing he cares about is making them happy, right? So that doesn't make sense, so that he would be like have feelings for one specific girl. So it's like this weird thing where it's like he is like this kid trapped in the body of an old guy, but he, an old guy that is Santa Claus and has very specific mission and very specific feelings towards certain people, good and bad. And that gets wackier and crazier down the road. Also, very much like with Paru Itagaki's other work we've seen, this series is not without its sexual undertones, which is kind of uncomfortable, considering that these are still kind of, young children. But, that if when you hit puberty, certain things happen. And if you have feelings for a classmate, so to speak, that is a legit topic to tackle. It might be uncomfortable, but that's definitely something that's in there because Ono, as it turns out, the friend that Fuyumura tries to bring back, definitely had romantic feelings for Fuyumura. And Fuyumura not necessarily had the same feelings for her, and that becomes a point of contention, of course. But there is like this moment, and it's like this world is very weird. There are almost no children left because of declining birth rates. Hey! Hello, Japanese show. So,
the specter of Shinzo Abe lurks ever presently.
Yeah, but in a different way, because unlike a show where this is like, hey, getting children is the best and everything, this show puts a very sinister spin on this, where like the society, like I said, is obsessed with children, but only the way when they are, youthful and putting them on this pedestal, but also not respecting their wishes, like instrumentalizing them. And also there is like this fucked up thing where all the marriages in the, like, getting married and having kids in this country is mandatory. And the government decides for you who you are marrying and who you have children with.
Ew.
So this is a very Handmaid's Tale kind of thing going on here, and it's very fucked up. And it's clear that some people would like to break out of that. Sanda also has already a fiance who is very cool. But that also, of course, is also thrown in the mix a bit. And, when you kind of not necessarily get the love triangle, because that doesn't really happen in the first season between Sanda, Fuyumura, and Nico, which is his fiance. But you can see that happening down the line. Because, he has definitely feelings for Fuyumura, always had them, apparently. And only in a couple of episodes, he starts realizing that he might have feelings for Nico, too. She definitely has feelings for him in a way, but she's also a weird girl. So who knows if that will stick. So we'll see. But yeah, this series just, there is, getting back to the sexual undertone stuff, definitely when Ono hits puberty overnight, because children are not allowed or can't sleep until they hit the age of 18. If they sleep a full night before they hit the age of 18, they hit puberty immediately, overnight. And that is too much might be too much for their brains and might kill them and whatever. So this kind of stuff happens to Ono, and she immediately turns into a full-grown woman overnight, technically, with all that entails. And the dream she has while that happens is very explicit. Like, I don't think I've seen something this explicit in an anime in a while, in regards to, what it depicts and everything. There's no nudity or anything, but, the implications are very text on the page. So that was surprising. So the show definitely has that, and I think we have seen something like that in Beastars, where there's some scenes with high sexual tension, I guess, which is a different kind of uncomfortable in that show because it's fucking furries. But that seems to be something that Paru Itagaki wants to put in her shows or in her manga and wants to talk about. So yeah, be aware of that if you want to check out the show. But that is also kind of the only scene where that happens. And like I said, it's a dream, so that's a cop-out, but, it's still in there. But aside from that, there is just a bunch of weird characters. The weirdest, of course, the headmaster and Santa Claus themselves. And, very interesting story. Just, it looks cool, sounds cool, tackled some interesting topics like childhood, growing up, body insecurities, obsession with youth, and everything. And I'm really interested to see where it goes. Like, this show has a lot of potential, and I'm very happy that the manga is apparently already finished. So, like I said, we're probably going to get the full adaptation of this at some point. And, I probably have a lot more to talk about when this comes back, whenever that is happening. I think the second season has already been confirmed. I'm not sure. But I don't know when it's coming back. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Always fun to look at Science Saru shows. Just visual wise, this is super fun to look at that alone. Like I said, there are not really that many big battles in this, only 2. The rest is more like weird, maybe sometimes JoJo-esque battles where it's not really about fist fighting or whatever, or fighting sword against sleigh runners. But still, there's a lot of high octane, somewhat action scenes in this show with lots of crazy shit happening. That Science Saru has a lot can do a lot with, and they do. So it's fun.
They always seem to take on these weirder projects, and I think that's cool for them.
It's absolutely cool, and I appreciate that. And that fits that the head of that studio, so Masaki Yuasa. So that is absolutely in his spirit, I guess. Definitely looking forward to more of this. And I'll talk about this when it comes back, because this was a really cool, interesting, weird as fuck show that I enjoyed. And it's breezy because it's only 12 episodes. So yeah, definitely recommend it. Check it out if you want something off kilter from your anime, because this definitely is that.
It sure sounds it.
Yeah. So John, what did you check out?
Checked out the second season of Ranma half.
Yes.
And it was as goofy and as silly as the first season. We talked briefly about the appearance of a certain character, Hapo-sai. He's barely in this. Yay!
Hooray!
Because nobody likes him. Nobody. Not the fans, not the characters in the show. Nobody. So they at least kept his weirdo appearances to a minimum. I think he's in maybe 3 episodes at most. So it's like, because everything I'd heard about the character from the original comic and the past adaptation is sort of like, no.
Do not want that, no.
Yeah. So we get to meet, Shampoo. We get to meet Moose. Moose has all sorts of weapons hidden up his sleeve, quite literally. Mm-hmm. Ranma gets forced into his female form, and he can't change back unless he takes this Phoenix pill from Shampoo's great-grandmother Cologne. And
I love the names in Ranma.
They're so good, aren't they?
Yeah.
Shampoo, Cologne. Hey, why not? Mm-hmm. Kuno is still going after Akane and the pigtailed girl, female Ranma, even though it never dawns on him that the 2 Ranmas might possibly be the same person. No, it's just the Ranma I have to fight the pigtail girl that I love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, blinded.
Love
makes you blind, literally.
It truly very much does. There's an introduction to a character earlier in Gosun Kugi, who has this one-sided crush on Akane, and he wants to expose Ranma's weakness, of which he has all of one, and that is cats. And I talked about this during the sneak peek, where if he gets exposed to cats and it overwhelms him, he kind of goes into a cat-like mode himself, and he ends up kissing Akane.
Oh no.
While he is a quote-unquote cat, but he has no memory of it after the fact. And it's silly and it's goofy, and the production continues to be really solid all around. We have the giant comic onomatopoeia. They do a lot of the single color dithering on certain shots to remind you, hey, this was a comic at some point. So it has a lot of that style in there. And I don't know if there's any plans for another season yet, because I don't think this story didn't end with this. They just were sort of like, ha ha ha, the adventure continues, la di da di da. Akane may have gotten turned into a duck. She didn't get turned into a duck. But it made for a good gag. Because Ranma is suffering like, it's my fault you got turned into a duck. And then turns around and sees Akane there, and it's like, well, wait, but you're the duck. Aren't you the duck? You're the duck, though. And that's
not.
And, that's that. It all ends with Kuno getting a team drop kick from Ranma and Akane because, hey, why not?
As par for the core for Rumiko Takahashi stuff, I guess.
Yes, and I just like this. I enjoyed the show just because it was silly and goofy. And, even though it was, rom-com, it's definitely more calm than it is rom. So I appreciate it for that much. So just letting it lean into how silly it is and not getting too serious on the other stuff, I think, is what keeps this story fun, because it's just, it's something silly each week, each volume, each chapter, I guess, depending on how you want to break it down. And it kept it going pretty well on that merit. So it was silly. It was fun. Again, don't know if it's coming back for a third season. Would be cool to see it continue to go further down the Rumiko Takahashi rabbit hole, as it were.
Cool.
But yeah.
I mean, is there still manga material left?
As far as I could tell, yeah, there's still a decent amount left. So
wouldn't be surprised if they bring it back then.
Yeah, just there hasn't been any announcement of any sort of that I had seen. So
I mean, this is a MAPPA show, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, they have their hands full, I guess. So we'll see whenever that the next one gets announced.
Yes, let's see. They ended on chapter about 98 out of, let's scroll to the bottom. Oh my God. 98 of 407. So, there's plenty of material. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. I didn't realize there was that much. But yeah, that's that. What do you got next?
Yes. Getting back on my favorite train, the shonen train. First entry there would be Gachiakuta, new Bones show, and it's about this guy called Rudo who is living in the outskirts of the city. Like it's like split in at least two parts, I guess. Like in the inner part is like the rich guy people who throw everything that they don't like away, and the Rudo is like a trash collector and brings it back to the slums on the outskirts, where he lives. Everyone there living there is ostracized by the people on the inside, and the people on the outside are called the tribes or whatever. And the rules in the slums are pretty harsh. Like if you commit certain crimes, especially murder, you get thrown into like this giant pit as a death sentence. And the same thing sadly happens to our main protagonist, because his dad gets murdered and he gets accused of the crime. Of course, nobody listens to him when he says that it was a masked guy, and then he gets dropped into the pit. And it turns out there's actually a land below, on the ground, full with the trash that gets dropped from the top, because it turns out what Rudo was living on is called the Sphere, and it's apparently like this moving island that is floating in the sky or something like that. And everything that all the trash that they throw out from there that lands on the ground, and that has led to several problems, among them trash beasts manifesting in certain parts of the ground. Also, that leads to that part of the ground being poisoned and everything. So, of course, the people on the ground are not happy with the spherites, as they call them, the people from above. And so this is a problem for Rudo because a lot of people are after him down below, but he quickly runs into a nice guy called Engine, who is part of a group called the Cleaners, who fight the trash beasts. And he takes Rudo in and welcomes him to his motley crew, who are like I said, these bounty hunters, I guess, but not really. They clean up. They clean they battle trash beasts, destroy them, and save people from them, and so on. And I guess the main four guys become then Rudo and Engine and Zanka and the girl Rio. And the interesting part is every one of the cleaners, or a lot of the cleaners, or a lot of people down on the ground have special powers. They're called givers, and what they can do is, if they have taken care of an object for a long time, that object gets imbued with this kind of emotional energy called anima, which is also the energy that leads to the manifestation of the trash beast. That is like the energy that manifests through all the trash that is thrown on the ground. And myth and legend said that all objects kind of have an amount of this energy, and that can become bigger and stronger and so on. And that leads to, if either to these beasts these beasts forming in the dangerous lands, or if you are a person and you care for an object long enough, you don't throw it away, you take good care of it, that can become a vital instrument. It's what it's called, and that is like this weapon, or can be used as a weapon. So we got a bunch of these. Like Engine has like an umbrella that looks super torn up, but can be turned into like this ramrod. I don't even know. Like, it looks like a drill from Gurren Lagann most of the time. And then Rio, the girl, has a pair of scissors that gets turned into like this giant scissors that she controls with, like, that she does, which is very cool. She doesn't most of the time use her hands to whirl those around like a giant sword. She uses her feet, which leads to super cool kinetic fight scenes with her. And then Zanka, for example, just uses like the staff, which, that being a very, I don't know, uninteresting weapon, is also part of his story in a way, and his background story, so that's cool. But there are a bunch of more weapons. And Rudo, he himself, turns out, has also one of these objects. He has 2 gloves that he got from his dad. And because he's a shonen protagonist, of course, that makes him more special than the other special characters with superpowers.
Of course.
Because these gloves enable him to turn every object he wants to into a vital instrument. Because usually every giver only has one vital instrument for their entire life, or that they can control. And Rudo can just pick up a thing and then can imbue that with anima energy, and it becomes a weapon. So, of course, he's overpowered. There's a limit to it, because he can only do it like 3 times, because he gets nosebleed and kills over, right? And there are also some other, wrinkles to it and everything that I don't want to go into now. But it's interesting. Like, it's an interesting battle system and everything. It also lends itself to very varied battles, especially when it comes to Rudo, because he can always use different weapons in every fight. But also to the others, because kind of some of these tools are working kind of the way that they were working when they were not used as a weapon. For example, Rudo uses a talisman that one of the cleaners was praying to every time before they went to a mission for a safe return. So how does that talisman work when Rudo turns it into a weapon? Well, it becomes the ultimate defense, right? It helps Rudo to redirect a weapon enemy attack so that he can't get hit, because that's the nature, that is the energy that this talisman was imbued with by its previous owner. So these are all very interesting. I always like when it feels like it has been, some thought has been put into your standard shonen battle mechanics, right? And this is definitely one of those shows where I get the feeling that the author did that. It's also a very interesting looking show, because it's got this, like, I don't know, this rugged feeling to it, of course, because everything is filled with trash, right? And the costumes also look kind of like stitched together. There is like a graffiti aspect to it. There's like a whole town that is like basically an assortment of artists who like spray the entire town, like tag all of it with cool graffiti art and everything. It's a fantastic looking episode, and it's really just really cool. Just some really cool idea, just design wise in this show, and also really cool soundtrack. It's very metal heavy. There's some really cool metal vocal tracks in the fights, in some of the fight scenes, which I of course go for. So that's really nice, and it definitely, just design wise, it feels it has a Soul Eater Fire Force vibe to it, which makes sense because the creator of the manga, Kei Urana, was apparently, according to one of our friends, the assistant to the creator of Fire Force and Soul Eater. So, Okubo. I haven't confirmed this, so I don't know if it's true, but it would make sense to me, just in terms of artwork and how somewhat unusual some of the characters are, and wacky and everything, and the humor in the show. All of that feels very, very close to Fire Force. Just, watching these shows somewhat back to back in these past 2 seasons, it's like, yeah, I can see that. Like I said, I haven't confirmed it, but I wouldn't be surprised if that actually is the case. So if you like Fire Force, if you like Soul Eater and want to go for something like a similar vibe in terms of humor, in terms of design, in terms of action, yeah, Gachiakuta, definitely go for it, because that's kind of it. And, Rudo's mission, of course, is going back to the surface, to the sphere, finding who killed his dad, and also taking pretty much revenge on everyone up there, also the people in the slums, because they were very willing to condemn him on the spot, to serve the people of the upper class, even though those people tread on them every day, right? Like, so he's like, wow, I was one of you, and you treat me like garbage only, because you feel like you need to suck up to the people at the top. And man,
it sure sounds,
I don't know.
Sounds a whole lot like a lower plate, upper plate, Midgar situation.
Also, I feel like this is one of the shows where it's like, hey, anime is never political. Yeah, shut the fuck up.
What? No, you don't. That can't be true.
Some people say that, and they are weird to me. It's the same with the Japanese video games. Like, come on, people, just fucking open your eyes. So, it's fun. It's crazy. There are also definitely some twists later in the show that I didn't see coming. Some funny ones, some disturbing ones. Like if there's like a thing I maybe didn't really like. There's like this story in the middle of the show where they meet this girl called Amo, who's living in the desert, and they have this fight against her. She's fucked up all the way to hell and back. Like, she's really super crazy, and the show. Maybe it's also a cool thing that the show did that to me, but like this, I don't know if it was intentional or if it just happened to be. Like, there's this, she almost kills the other cleaners, and then Rudo beats the shit out of her. Like, when she's already on the ground, like he literally like beats her face in. This girl, which you don't really see that much in anime when it comes to good guy, ostensibly good guy. Doing that to I guess one of the bad guys, a woman at that. But then we learn her backstory, and it's really, really bad. Like, not bad in the terms of badly written, but it's really fucked up. Like, her mom basically sold her into slavery, like to a pedophile.
Ooh.
And she became his possession, but thought she was in love or whatever, and he manipulated her and groomed the fuck out of her, and it's really disturbing and creepy and uncomfortable. And that kind of recontextualizes, yeah, she was crazy and tried to kill you, but look where she's coming from. But the show also, so him beating the shit out of her and really beating her to like bloody, just really feels really bad after the fact. But he also then goes to her, apologizes, and reaches out like his hand to her. There was still like an icky undertone to all this because it's like kind of a savior thing going on with him. And first he had to beat the shit out of her before he could save her. But that made me feel kind of but also that is part of his character because Rudo is an absolute hothead. Like the show regularly calls back to him getting in a lot of trouble because he doesn't have his emotions under control, because he gets angry all the time at people, sometimes without reason, and he just always blows a fuse and everything. And this was one of these situations. And this story is also, first and foremost, it feels like it's for his revenge. But also it is about him learning to grow up and not being as much of a fucking chaos agent and a fucking just a violent monster, even if it's directed at the correct people most of the time. So I guess that fits into that, but it still made me feel like just the succession of events that happened one after another felt like didn't feel really good in terms of, and maybe the show did want to make me feel like that. Maybe the show intentionally put that next to each other because you enjoyed him beating the shit out of this little girl, right? Because she tried to kill his companions. Well, now you see why she was that way. Do you still feel good about that, you sick fuck? And maybe that's what the show wants to do to its viewers. I wouldn't put it like past it. That could very much be the case, but I'm not sure, and that's why I'm still a bit uncomfortable with these couple of moments. So this was the one hiccup moment in the middle of the show where it's like, oh, okay, I don't know if I like this, but it moves past that. And especially like opens up a new chapter with these two characters because they kind of become friends after that. So it seems, even though it quickly moves on to the next thing after that. But yeah, it was okay after that. So I don't know if it will go back to this kind of stuff in the next season. Who knows? But everything else was pretty much standard shonen fare. You got your wacky characters, you got your humor, you got a lot of big fights, and let me tell you, if you've missed Bones going all out in recent time, maybe on some seasons of My Hero Academia or whatever, not bringing their A game, they definitely brought their A game in this show. Like there's some fights in the show that are downright insane, that look so fucking good, especially in like the final big confrontation of the season. In episode 21, there's like this big fight scene with a lot of characters fighting one person. But there's so much crazy choreography and all the crazy shit happening at the same time, and I loved it. It was fantastic. So. Great show, entertaining show. Hey, if you are on the shonen action train like I am and don't intend to get off or can't get off because you're stupid or addicted to it, hey, this might be one of the shows you want to check out. Like I said, there's this weird icky part in the middle, but also that might be intentional because, like I said, it kind of fits with what they're trying to do, apparently, with Rudo as a character and him feeling regret or having to learn to feel regret for certain things and trying to learn to get his anger issues under control. So we'll see how it pans out. I don't know. I think also here second season has been confirmed, but no air date yet or whatever. And I don't know how far the manga is ahead. It doesn't sound like there was that much material left, or is that much material left after this season wrapped up, so they might have to wait a bit until they have enough material to continue. We'll see. I hope this is going to be the next big Bones tentpole thing. I haven't seen that many people talk about it, so I doubt it will become as big as My Hero Academia or something like that. But I wouldn't mind it continuing for a while because this has a lot of promise and, like I said, some really interesting tidbits that I haven't seen in some of the other shonen action shows. So yeah, I enjoyed it quite a lot. I thought it was a good fucking time. So yeah, John, what is your last Quick and the Dead entry?
Touring After the Apocalypse.
Ah, yes.
So this was kind of like...
Wait, you didn't you feel... In the sneak peek, was it like the show where you weren't sure if you want to continue it?
Yeah, I ended up finishing it up.
Okay.
And, it was this neat sort of lazy traveling tale across a post-apocalyptic world. Japan is in quite the state. Things are underwater. Things are destroyed. There's no roads in certain parts. There's giant storms. It ain't bad, or it ain't good. It's bad. This season didn't really feel like going into a lot of the particulars of that, though. Like, there was some sort of catastrophe. There might have been war. It might have been something. It might have been... we're not sure if... or I'm not sure if one of the main characters, Yoko, if her quote-unquote big sister, it's not clear. That's another thing. It's not clear. It's not clear if they're related by blood or if it's just, oh, you're my One-chan sort of thing, It's not clear if this other character, Chitose, is alive or not, but the Yoko and Irie is this little android girl, are sort of following the path that Chitose has sort of taken on her travels throughout Japan. So I guess the end point is trying to find out what happened to her sister, and this season sort of just ends at one point, and it's like, go on. Oh, you're not going to. Oh, okay. So we got like 4 volumes into where the manga is, which I guess the manga is still running. I can't turn up a concrete number of what chapter it's currently on, but it is the last collection, like the last volume, the last tankobon that was released was in this past October. The latest chapter number I can find is 38, which doesn't seem right considering this ends at around chapter 24. So there's a lot of story that seems to have been left unsaid, and which, okay, that's fine, but I have so many questions. And this season did not really answer any of them, if I'm being real. So, and there's no word if there's going to be a second season, so I guess I might have to open a book and read if I want to find out what happened. Which, oh no, how terrible having to read. I make it sound like it's a bad thing. Oh. But, what this show did really well was a lot of the vistas and the places that Irie and Yoko go to. Like, it's definitely a ruined landscape from top to bottom, every place they go to. Like, in one area, they meet this robot who is... he tells them about the place that they're in, and he kind of ends up running out of battery and ostensibly dying as they're leaving. And it's like, well, that's sort of sad to see. They come across this FM radio broadcast in Akihabara, and they expect to find someone there, but it's this AI, DJ Akiba Jiro II, and it can sort of indirectly interact with the people that actually come into the radio station, but it's just a robot, like, a very dumb robot that can just spit out what's put into it, but it can see them through a web camera and whatnot. And they do a funny thing where this show was distributed by Aniplex, and the robot is voiced by Yoshitsugu Matsuoka, and the song that plays when they first get into Akiba is from Sword Art Online. Ha 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 ha. So, they had some fun with that. And I was like, all right, okay, I see what you guys did. That's fine. And a lot of that is them just continuing their travels. They, when going to Umi Hotaru, run afoul of this very violent storm with lots of funnels in the water. And it's like really scary and very harrowing. Run across, a whole group of rats in there. They get to a national motorcycle shrine where there's like this one robot left that's able to guide them through it, and they go on a race around the track, and all interspersed throughout all of this, Yoko has these like flashbacks to what may have been the past with Chitose. It's not clear if they're her memories or if she's somehow reliving Chitose's memories vicariously. It's strange in a lot of different ways, but it's got me curious about where the story goes after this. And like I said, maybe I'll just look up the manga and keep reading it, because I don't know how much longer it's because it's still apparently continuing. Don't know how many chapters in they are, but I think Yen Press.
I mean, you could still get a second season, right? So
that's true, but there hasn't been any word on that. I figured there would have been maybe something, unless it's like something how with like the case study of Vanitas, they're waiting for more material. Well, then again, that was current when it ended, so. This is not quite current as far as I understand. So I don't know. I'd like to see more of it. I'm curious how far behind the anime ended, but I guess that's something I could figure out if I actually do some reading. So we'll see. Yeah, I thought it was neat enough for what it was, but again, I want answers. I want to know things. So we'll see where it goes from that.
Yeah, I hope you will get a second season.
I hope so too, but we'll see.
Otherwise, you got to pick up the manga or whatever, the light novel. What?
Yeah, it is a manga. There's 8 volumes in Japan. We've gotten, or the 7th volume is releasing in the West the end of next month in April. So
okay,
it will be almost current in the English language manga. So
nice.
Yeah, that's that. What you got for your last one?
Well, not getting off the Shonen Action train, and what else?
Oh no, of course not.
What else could the final entry be than the final season of My Hero Academia?
Mm-hmm.
Because that just ended. Man, it's been a long time coming. You jumped off the train a while ago.
Yeah,
I kept going, and I'm glad I did, because this was a great finale. That was something I, for a while there in the show, did not necessarily expect I would get. But after it started picking up with, I think it's 6th season again, I got more confident, and rightfully so, because this was great. There's a lot of, like, this is Avengers Endgame levels of shit happening. At the same time, everyone is fighting Shigaraki and the League of Villains, what is left of them anyway, and All for One at the same time. And it's crazy. We start up where we left off with the Dark Knight Returns fight between All Might and All for One, like with All Might, who has not his powers anymore, but they just turned him into Batman, Batmobile included. And that just gives him this power armor, and then they fight, and All Might uses all these weapons that are kind of mirror the quirks of his students. So it's like they're fighting with him. So it's super cool and emotional. And we get like this all is lost moment. First of all, like Stain intervenes and helps in a clutch moment, which I didn't see coming.
Really?
It's not bad for him. Yeah, but he's like, All Might was also his idol in a way. He just wasn't happy with how it turned out, but he turns this around. There were some teasers for that in the previous seasons, and then he comes in at a clutch moment and stops All for One just from doing shit, and it's really cool. And then we have like this all is lost moment where All for One is about to kill All Might in front of everyone, and Deku can't get to him because he has to restrain Shigaraki, who is a completely different part of the city. And then Bakugo, who we assumed was on death's door due to being like impaled by Shigaraki, reawakens, and Deku hurls him towards All Might, which Bakugo is able to save. And it's the best possible ending for his arc. You know, since season 3, he has always held himself responsible for ending the career of All Might by forcing him to use his last power in the battle against All for One. But now he can have his redemption by actually being the one to save his idol from certain death. And in the sickest way possible, too. Like, amazing. Everything top notch again. Animations, soundtrack, you name it. And not only that, he gets to be the one to bomb the shit out of All for One while saying, I'm the last boss. It's so cool.
Oh.
The animation is incredible. Like Yuki Hayashi's score becoming more epic than ever. Not in a million years at the beginning of season 1 would I have guessed I'd be cheering so much for Bakugo. But he's so awesome here. Like, My Hero Academia just has been constantly nailing the long game payoffs in this final stretch of the story. Like, kudos to Horikoshi and Bones. The road was shaky at times, but man, have you made it worth it over and over again. And we finally learn All for One's origin, and that of his little brother Yuichi, who started the One for All legacy of meta users. It's interesting, albeit not very original. Like, turns out All for One was just an all-powerful greedy monster as soon as he left the womb of his mother, convinced the world and everything in it was his alone. That included his brother. And he started losing it when his brother was taken away from him by the person that would become the second One for All user. So that started kind of like this eternal beef with all One for All users. And that second user somewhat resembles Bakugo, which wasn't really necessary to make this final confrontation work, but it's also not detracting from its effectiveness, because you're like, hey, it rhymes. And it's pretty cool. And like, we have this last-ditch effort where All for One transforms into an HR Giger nightmare and tries to propel himself towards Shigaraki to take over his body as planned. But Bakugo is there and finally delivers the finishing blow. And All for One's uncontrollable rewind power, which he, stole from Eri and so on, does the rest, and he exits the world as he entered it, as a crying baby, then an embryo, then an egg cell, then nothing.
That's wild.
An appropriately small ending for a monster that considered itself above everyone for its entire life. From dust you came, and to dust you shall return. At least, so I thought. Because, of course, that's not the end of that fucker. Because at the other side of things, we have Shigaraki and Deku fighting, and we have this battle in Shigaraki's mind palace, kinda, that Deku enters by throwing all the All for One user spirits at him and everything, and that's opening a door to Shigaraki's mind. It becomes very crazy, and Deku enters it, and everyone is asking him to kill Shigaraki, but Deku can't do that because that is not who he is, right? He's the hero, the ultimate hero. He saves people. He can't kill even the worst bad guy. He can only live and fight according to his ideals, and those do not gel with the idea of abandoning the soul of a child that has been subconsciously begging Deku to help him over several encounters and everything. So the second One for All users decides to gamble big and asks Deku to, as he says, let's go parts of One for All. So the remnants of the previous users can enter Shigaraki's mind and pry open the door to his subconsciousness. The only point of attack hidden in the mind of the monster that All for One has created. So he does that. He fights there. He learns Shigaraki's backstory, the tragic stuff with his dad hating his grandma because she was never there for him, and then projecting that on his child, who also, Shigaraki only wanted to be a hero. He loved playing a hero, but his dad hated that because his mom was a hero and she was never there for him. And, family trauma. A lot of My Hero Academia is about family trauma. The Endeavor family storyline is all about that. But, also the Shigaraki storyline. And, there's some back and forth. Shigaraki, of course, is in control of his mind, so Deku can't really do much there, even though he's trying to. Things get really dire because he loses both hands while battling in Shigaraki's consciousness, which has an effect on his real body. So, of course, this is the best moment for the show to pull an Avengers Endgame on your left moment, and all the available heroes and classmates of Deku emerge from portals. Hayashi's soundtrack goes into emotional overdrive once again. Deku is healed by Eri's power, and the final showdown can begin. I'm cheering, I'm crying, I'm yelling, fuck yeah. Everything you want out of a big action finale. And everyone is starting to fight Shigaraki, who turns his body, or technically All for One, who at this point, because the one thing Deku was able to do is have Shigaraki take a step back in his mind and, hesitate. The problem is, once he hesitates and his will becomes weak in regards to his goals of destroying everything, the remnant of All for One that was already implanted in his mind takes over and takes hold and pushes down, almost completely erases Shigaraki's consciousness and takes over his body. And from that moment on, all the heroes fight All for One in Shigaraki's body one last time, who becomes this Lovecraftian abomination with tentacles everywhere, made of metal and shit, and it looks creepy as fuck. But then, of course, we get this big final, here comes the Sakuga shit scene where everyone paves the way, like all the A1 student and other students paved the way for Deku, who, together with the final glimmering fragment of Shigaraki's fading consciousness, delivers the final blow on All for One, and the day is saved.
So All for One gets to pull a liquid snake?
Yes, pretty much. Yes, exactly. Yes. And then we get the 3-episode-long epilogue, which is also nice, which we don't really get in every anime. And apparently there's one more epilogue episode coming in May. And I love that too. And another thing that stuck out to me was I appreciate how ruthless Horikoshi is when it comes to permanently scar or mangle his heroes. Because that also comes to play in this epilogue. Like, a lot of the characters got severely fucked up in the final battle, especially Endeavor, who lost at least one arm and can't walk anymore. Just is in a wheelchair from now on. We get a nice bookend to the Todoroki family arc, though. That is not the perfect happy ending thing, especially the state Toya is in, / Dabi. But it's appropriate and hopeful enough to not feel like a complete downer. So it's cool. Like, in general, the tone of the epilogue is bittersweet. Like, Ochako is still wrestling with Toga sacrificing herself to keep Ochako alive. Deku having pretty much used up all of One for All power, the One for All powers, and almost being quirkless again. And the show is not hiding the fact that the big fight had lasting consequences, and I appreciate that. I like that not everyone gets out of this squeaky clean, and a lot of the people are permanently scarred and damaged emotionally as well as physically. But we, of course, also get the usual nice epilogue stuff, like seeing everyone grown up, leading new lives, Deku being quirkless, but inspiring the next generation as a teacher. And yeah, I guess the final statement of the show is that everyone can be a hero, which kind of was the thing from the get-go, because Deku is you and me. Like, he's the quirkless person. He's the person without power, but his will and his determination to be a better person, to help people, makes him become something better. And he was that for a while. And he still is that now, even though he's quirkless again. But he, like I said, is inspiring the next generation. He gets a nice power suit, just like All for One got at the end, which is a bit of a cop-out, I guess, but he needs to be a hero.
The power we gained was the friends we made along the way.
That too, yes. But not only that, it's also about, like I said, determination. And, of course, also the other characters helping him become that and helping him grow. And he, in turn, helping the other characters to grow. What would have become of Bakugo if Deku wasn't around? In this story, to turn into a completely different person than he was than the bully he was in the beginning, and by the end he becomes a lot of people's favorite character, mine included. Like I thought Bakugo was fantastic by the end. So we see nice team ups at the end, and you can guess from who becomes a hero team, who becomes an item down the road. A lot of these already being teased in the beginning, but there's not really anything like you don't get the hey, Deku ends up with Ochako and everything, and they have kids and so on. That doesn't really happen, which I kind of also appreciated. Like, we don't have the typical hey, here's that person and they become an item, and you can guess that, but the show is not really like confirming that or being like, hey, here all of these characters now are in a relationship or whatever. So that's kind of neat. I kind of like that as well. Because it feels like the show didn't do enough legwork during its runtime to justify that happening when it comes to character relationships. So I'm glad it stuck to its guns in that regard and wasn't like, hey, now all these characters belong to each other and are people, that are romantically engaged or whatever. So I like that. I think that's good. But yeah. Like I said, final statement of the show is everyone can be your hero. Just keep your eyes open for people who are in need and go beyond to help them, which is in the plus ultra spirit of the show. You never know how much the smallest friendly gesture or helping hand can change the life of a single person, or maybe, as it turns out, the world. So, yeah, fantastic finale to a sometimes mixed experience of a show. But it was definitely worth, in my opinion, sticking with it till the end. I'm definitely gonna try to get all of it on Blu-ray now. I wanted to hold off on that until I watch the finale, because with anime, with shows in general, you never know how it turns out by the end. But especially with anime, it often drops the ball on the last couple of meters, where it's like, oh god, why?
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that My Hero Academia didn't turn out to be one of these shows. And I still have Vigilantes to watch, which is also fun, slightly different flavor from that universe, but I'm glad that is still around. But I'm also really glad that My Hero Academia proper got such a great send-off. Looking forward to the final epilogue episode in May, and then I can finally say goodbye to the show. And I'm really glad I watched it. And hey, very happy. I'm looking forward to see what Horikoshi is doing next. I don't know if he already started a new manga, which I must assume he did. But I didn't look up what that is and what his new plans are. But yeah, really, really happy with this. Glad that I at least once gave it best of the season. And loved it. Loved this finale. Thought was fantastic. And with that, we are out of the quick question mark and the dead. And
it was quick enough, I guess.
Quick enough, yes. But we have a full review scheduled as well, and we're gonna move into that right now.
Yeah, now begins the fourth, depending on how you count, season of Spy Family. I guess it is number 3, because we had one season that was 2 parts. Guys, can we talk about numbers for a second? Just, can we figure that out, please?
Yes, it would be great if we could decide on either course or seasons. It's just, god damn it, it's really weird. Like, a lot of people are talking about, like, hey, 12 episodes are just a half season, but then what are shows that only run for 12 episodes? Is that not an entire season of anime? It's just,
I mean,
it's a mess.
It would count as a calendar season.
Yes, exactly. So fuck it, I guess. We're just gonna call it New Spy Family. More Spy Family.
Spy Family the next, the current.
Spy Family Part 3.
The Reckoning. Revengeance.
Exactly. Who's taking revenge? Fiona.
Yes.
We'll get to that. We'll get to my favorite scene in the season. But that's coming pretty much at the end, or very close to the end. So where we have some work to do before that. John, what is happening in this? Part season core.
I mean, as far as looking, because I actually just now took a look at the list of the story arcs, according to the manga. A lot, actually. Mm-hmm. We moved through about
noticeable.
We moved through about 4 distinct arcs according to how they are delineated in the manga adaptation. So, I guess we kind of had an intro episode where it's like, hey, do you remember the Forgers and all the goofy stuff they get into? Cool.
Here, construction worker, like construction site battle with excavator battle.
Yeah, with a couple of excavators, backhoes, whatever you want to call them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then we got a little bit of Fiona right here at the start. A teaser of what's to come, where Fiona has to rely on Frankie to get some documents forged, and it's a whole ordeal. Mm-hmm. But
they work they work it out. It's not like they're off on they're not off on a good foot. They have a rocky start.
They get into disguises and go to a disco to meet this forger, not one of our forgers, but this guy whose name is only Mr. Quill. Mm-hmm. And they get into a long chase sequence with these agents of the state. Mm-hmm. And that's one whole mess again. And Frankie vows never to work with Fiona ever again.
That doesn't work out, or that doesn't happen.
We will see about that.
Yeah. Immediately it's like, hey, okay, we're back. It's a fun sitcom shenanigans, and then we also have some fun action shenanigans, and these are cool characters, and this is a cool setting, and it's always funny for me to pick up on these little nods to this being, which was established before, that this is set in a kind of fictionalized version of separated West and East Germany / Berlin, or Berlin Tar.
I would say, considering it's called Berlin.
Yeah, during the Cold War. But it still made me chuckle when the contact phrase Frankie sends to to Mr. Quill, to the document forger via radio program, is, "The other day I went to Bayern on a work trip." It's spelled differently, but it's still Bayern, the German word for Bavaria. I appreciate this nonsense. I think that's great. The other great thing is a character that is introduced, I think, in the next episode immediately, which is Madame Schlag.
Oh, God.
Who dishes out the punishment for uncouth behavior at the academy, like the Tonitron bolts or whatever they're called. And her name is Donna Schlag, which is a pun on the German word Donnerschlag, which means thunderstrike, and she dishes out thunderbolts. So
I had no idea. That was like whoosh for me.
Of course, but that's why I wanted to bring it up, because okay, Spy Family, your pun game is A-class. I accept it.
Oh, man. But yeah, Damien is afraid he's going to get a Tonitrus bolt for not having his handkerchief. So Anya gives hers to him, thinking she has a spare, and she doesn't, and she gets a bolt, and Lloyd passes out, learning that this is her second bolt. Oh, yes. No. And it's during this
mission is a danger.
Yes. And it's at this moment that we get flashbacks to Agent Twilight's past, and
Fucking finally! Goddamn!
We don't ever get his name, but we sure learn a lot about him.
Yes! It's crazy. Like, I was asking for this shit for like 2/3 seasons. To finally get into the background of Lloyd, because we've always been teased before. We saw like a couple of 1-second scenes, him standing in rubble and crying and whatever, and we never knew what this was about. And now we get the whole shebang, literal bang. And it's really like, it's dark. Like in general, this season had a lot of tense and dark moments when compared to the others. I mean, the other seasons had that partially too, but not like this one. Like, we get all of it. Like, we see he had kind of a shitty anime dad. You know, that episode ends on a very, like, the first episode that tackles that story ends on this, like, super serious note where, like, the city is attacked that Lloyd was living in. And he thinks everyone died. And, I mean, his family did die, but he also thought his friends died, and he meets them later when he joins the army or whatever, but also they don't make it that much longer after he, you know, gets reacquainted with them. But it's cool. We learned so many cool tidbits. Like, we have this really interesting discussion about labels and preconceived notions with Frankie and the experiment he tells Lloyd about when they meet for the first time in the woods, in regards to how people reacted to a person getting beat up in a stage play and whatever, before and after they learned certain things about it. So that was really interesting. So I haven't seen something like that from this show before. And we learn who recruited Lloyd into a Wise, which was, of course, Kenjiro Tsuda. Who else could it be?
Of course.
And he is all about, like, ignorance is a weakness and a sin, which explains why Lloyd became obsessed with gathering info. And, you know, he's still shitty at his job when it comes to his family, though, but aside from that, I guess he does a good job. He made something of himself in regards to being an info collector and applying that information to, you know, solve his mission or whatever. But that really, really nice set of 1.5 episodes. Like, now we know how Lloyd came to be who he is and what is his driving motivation behind his work, or what that might be. Even though he claims that he doesn't care about anything besides doing his job, even if his instructor knows that's a lie and calls him out on it. But yeah, this is what I would want all of Spy Family to be. Like, give me like 1 or 2 episodes of silly sitcom shenanigans, and then at least 2 episodes of serious character and story stuff. I think that rhythm would suit the show and my tastes better. And I mean, we get a lot more of that in this season. That's why I really liked it. But I hope that's a trend that will continue, because the previous seasons didn't necessarily have that. Even the mission stuff was often very goofy and didn't really feel like it led anywhere or any new discovery or development, really. And were more these closed off missions that were only tangentially related to the main mission of the story. And I feel like this season kind of goes into a very different direction and makes some serious plot progression, like you said. I really enjoyed that. I assume you did as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, I feel like we've gotten a pretty good amount at this point about most of the characters. So, I mean, maybe there's some gaps that might get filled in later as we go on, but this kind of paves the way for the overarching plot to continue as it is. So
yeah, absolutely. And again, the little details are great. They in the flashback, there's like this scene where Lloyd buys some gear at or some food at a stand, and they even created pretty accurate old German currency, like the Pfennig, which is old coins which we don't use anymore since the introduction of the euro, but that was our main small coin cent equivalent back in the day. And they even put that in the show, and it looked pretty convincing to me. I was like, whoa, okay, I haven't seen that kind of coin in ages. That's crazy that's in this show. I didn't expect that dedication to detail, even though it's just a fictionalized version of Germany that this is set in. But I really like that. So
they did some research.
Absolutely, yeah. It's not only for show. It's really cool. I mean, there are some more blunt things where I'm like the Turkish spy code name is Kebab. Really? Like, come on, Spy Family. Are you being serious? I mean, they're not, but come on.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
I don't know how to feel about that.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, there in general there was a lot of neat little things aside from this also being a very plot-heavy iteration of the show that stood out to me. Like there were a lot of moments criticizing blindly believing cheap propaganda by tabloids, for example, which is very contemporary. I mean, it always has been, but even more so today. And that was very interesting. So that big burst of plot-related episodes and the background story of Loin was one of my favorites from recent season. But of course, we get also, smaller, more funny stuff sprinkled in between after that, or so we think, because what happens next is Yor gets drafted into a volleyball team consisting exclusively of mothers. And you think, okay, this is like, hey, Yor wants to become a better mom and everything for Anya, and has a problem because she's a weird child woman who, for some reason, doesn't know shit about anything and still manages to be an assassin.
I mean, that's one way to word it, but you're not wrong.
Yes, so it's like, okay, so this is going to be like this mini arc, and it's only going to be, she's going to become friends with these moms and learn how to, I don't know, better cook or shit. And then it turns out the team leader is Melinda Desmond, so Damien's mom. And now the Forges have an additional in? Or is it? Because, Lloyd wonders if this was set up by the Desmond family for some reason. There's definitely something weird about Melinda, especially down the road when we see her together with Lloyd after the next big series story point, where it's like, something is not right with this woman. And, something is not right with this dad either, but, yeah. It's like, okay, she seems to hate and love Damien at the same time. You don't know what that is about and everything. And, but hey, even when in this season, when she's like, okay, this is just going to be a one-off thing. No. This is actually going to probably further the main mission and the plot. And like, hello, I was asking for this the entire time. How did it take you so long to get to doing this? This is great. So, yes, I was overjoyed to, have that happen. And, there's these little bits sprinkled in here that set up future important events, I think. Because after the volleyball episodes, like, Yor by accident drops the info in a conversation with her handler, the shopkeeper, that Lloyd said in a conversation with her that he is interested in the National Unity Party, which definitely doesn't go unnoticed by the shopkeeper. And I'm like, someone paid way too much attention to what you just said, and that's not good. So, like, not necessarily it doesn't necessarily something have to come of this, but at this point, I kind of get a feeling the show, when the show drops these kind of little things, these little expressions of characters and faces, you have to pay attention, because that can be a setup for future things. It has done this before, so I'm like, okay, careful here. That guy might now be suspecting something. And yeah, it's cool. I really, really like that. And hey, of course we have silly shit that is also kind of related to the main mission, like with the doctor who is jealous of Lloyd and calls the state security service on him, claiming he's a spy. The irony, of course, being that Lloyd really is one. But, it turns out Lloyd anticipated this somehow and had Frankie and Fiona catch the call and pretend to be state agents, but it was still fun.
That's so how could he anticipate that? But everything else,
I don't know,
happens,
because it's Spy Family.
It's so that one in particular, I was like, okay, I get you're prepared for a lot of things, Lloyd, but how did you catch this one?
I guess because I forgot his name. The doctor would be the kind of person that would eventually call the state security service on Lloyd because he wants to get him out of the way. The problem is the timing. Like, how would you know when exactly he would do that?
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Like, when did you decide to I don't know, to hack his phone line or whatever? Right from the beginning? But it didn't look like you did that, so I don't know. You're right, it's weird, but it's also Spy Family, so.
It's at least funny getting to hear Takahito Koyasu play a flustered loser.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Great job.
Because that's what Dr. Gory is. He's a loser.
He's an absolute loser. Like, especially, I loved his interactions with Fiona, who's just showing him the coolest of shoulders. It's
Fiona-chan, I love you.
Mm-hmm. Get out of here.
Yeah, that's nice. What do you want, Doctor?
Yeah, leave. She's amazing, and we'll get to that. Becky keeps on watching too many anime rom-coms, as has been established before. Everything that Anya does, she kind of likens to that, and also she's still way too obsessed with Lloyd. But it's fun. Then we get the next serious bit, where we have like a school bus abduction by like this terrorist organization.
The kids are on a way to a field trip to a museum, and they get bus jacked by the Red Circus.
Yeah, which, again, another wild reference from German history I did not expect to see, because this is obviously a reference to the Red Army faction, which was a left-wing terrorist group from the 70s to mid-90s that killed a lot of people in Germany.
Oh.
So that name is no coincidence. So that was super wild to me. Like, there's not much correlation to the real Red Army faction with the characters that are displayed here, but it was still fun them doing that, and also some of the political motivation and everything kind of mirrors what they were trying to do, I guess. It was still wild to see that in a fucking sitcom anime. It's just, what the fuck is this reference doing here? Holy shit. Wild. Just wild. And also one of the funniest scenes in this season, when it comes to Anya, when she and Damien get bombed, strapped to them. And when Damien gets his strapped to him and he walks past Anya and she's like, "Oh, we match." It got me so good. Her fucking expression and his reaction to that, amazing. Like, just, "Oh, we match."
And that she's absolutely fearless when she reads the what was his name, Billy's mind. It's like, oh, it's not an actual bomb, and she's like, oh, okay.
But it's not all fun and games in that episode. Like, it gets really serious there for a moment in the finale, and I also like that. That rarely happens. Like, I feel like Anya has not really been put into that much peril until now. Well, in the movie, definitely. But in the series proper, on occasion, because she's around when shit happens to Yor and Lloyd, but not necessarily she as the target. And she definitely was the target here. Mm. So, or one of the targets, all the kids were. So that was a very harrowing moment. And I also like the villain, or at least, the main villain, Billy, because his backstory is another good serious moment in this season. with his daughter and everything. Like, cool. I mean, except for the name of his daughter. Like, your name is Billy and you name your daughter Biddy. Like, that's cool shit. Don't do that. It's just, that's not right. Bimmy and Jimmy.
Oh my God.
Don't do it.
I mean, it at least gets you to sympathize with him a little bit.
Totally. Yes. And I mean, he does the right thing by the end, right? So that's cool. I really liked that little arc as well. It was really intense and exciting and funny and serious. So it was cool. And then at the end, tail of that, we get the thing that I earlier talked about, where I was wondering if Melinda Desmond has like the split personality disorder, the way she reacts to her son.
She doesn't seem very happy that he's safe.
Yeah, not really, right? Like it starts like that, or if the show makes you think that she's happy, and then you get a glimpse into her mind, and it's like, what the fuck is going on there? And I'm wondering. They're probably gonna go into that, and right now it feels like there's this really sinister undertone to her character. So, interested to see where this goes, and I hope we'll find out in the next season, actually, because that's definitely a story bit I want to learn a lot more about. One of the next things that happens was one of the few things about this season I didn't like, maybe for personal reasons. We have like Lloyd posing as a psychiatrist for a teacher, which is played for laughs, but I was really uncomfortable with that because the teacher was still like suffering from PTSD due to the hostage situation and I guess his shitty wife.
Yeah.
And I get that it's Lloyd's mission, that he is good at pretending to be other people. But the teacher seemed to be a good guy, and it felt like such a violation of a doctor-patient trust relationship that guy, like what Lloyd was doing there. Like, that guy needed a real professional and not just a guy pretending to be one out for his own quote-unquote gain. I mean, I guess it was kind of clear this was going on, but I think the series never puts such a big spotlight on the fact that Lloyd is conning people in need when he is posing as a doctor, which is his main disguise, right? Like, it's nice if the guy gets better through his talks with Lloyd, but that is more a happy accident or coincidence than anything else. Not to mention that Fiona is listening in on it and the conversation is probably taped, which is fucking gross.
Yeah, that was...
And he has been doing it to more people than this guy, probably. So that was one of the moments where it's like, I guess you didn't put that much thought into what Lloyd's disguise is and what he's really doing here to innocent people. So I'm like, But, you know, that was just a very small moment. It was like half an episode where this happened. And that I can gloss over that, I guess. But that was the only thing in the season where I was like, did that have to be in this? Didn't give me a good feeling. So,
yeah,
it felt a bit wrong-headed.
That was a little eesh.
But maybe that's also on us for ignoring this all the time. But also the show didn't, like I said, didn't put a spotlight on it. Like didn't make it a theme or whatever. And now it was like, it makes you think like, okay, how many people's lives did he make worse by not actually being a professional psychiatrist, but telling people shit like superficial garbage that actually doesn't help them?
Probably a lot.
Yes. So, what was nicer was seeing Yor come out of her shell and making connections with her coworkers. They notice it too. It only results in a problem where she gets drunk again, which is also not a character archetype thing I liked, but also I've complained about that in the previous season too, where it's like that Yor is a bad drunk, she's a wine mom, and it's like, I get it, and haha, woman is drunk and punches the guy because she gets embarrassed. That's typical anime humor, but it's not my humor. But that also doesn't really happen here, like, because she thinks she has to find gripes because that is part of the married life and everything, and she tries to create conflict, a drama out of nothing, which I usually also hate. But thankfully, also that gets resolved really quickly, like from one episode to the next, where she like confesses to Lloyd that that's what she was doing. And I was fine with it in this case. It's like, okay, that's absolutely not my thing, but at least they didn't linger on it.
Yeah, I was going to say, if they dragged it out like maybe 2-3 episodes, I probably would have been like, all right, come on, guys. But since they kind of went over it real quick, I was like, that's fine, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, the setup is just super wild when like their co-workers are like, hey, your marriage can't be perfect. What's going on there? And all she had to tell them really was that they're sleeping in separate beds and have no physical relationship whatsoever, which would have been the ridiculous truth, by the way, and would have gotten them off her back.
Yeah.
So why didn't she just do that? Probably because she doesn't know that would be normal in a relationship. I don't know. Yeah, weird character, like I said. And if you needed any more proof that alcohol is absolutely dangerous, look no further than this set of episode.
Always drink in moderation, everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I mean, she only had one glass, right? She's just she's a lightweight.
Always drink in moderation.
But yeah, but you know, that was that. And then we get, I guess, to the last part of this season, and again, a serious one. The Wise is trying to, what are they trying to do? They trying to get, there's like this, they had this spy inside their agency who apparently stole a list of activities of Wise in East Berlin, right? In Istania in general, and has all the names on them and locations. So if that gets into the hand of the Istania State Security Service, they're fucked. Like the mission, like Operation Strix, everything is like in super danger. So it's all hands on deck. Have to find the guy and get the list back. Very Mission Impossible one, kinda. It was also about them stealing the not list, I guess. But yeah, it feels like they have the everyone like fooled and have everything under control, and then it turns out the state security actually sets up a pretty decent trap for Wise.
Yeah, that was actually really interesting the way that
was
played
super
out.
tense. That was like, holy shit, okay, wow, this might be the first time that they really got outmaneuvered by state security.
And then when they find out the person on their side who leaked what was false information given to everyone on their team.
Yes. And
how did he know he should show up wearing a yellow pinned tie? And it's like,
I mentioned different colors to different people, and the color he showed up with is the one that I only told to you. That was really smart. That was a good trap.
It's so good.
Yes, and it was a really tense moment when that was revealed, and real oh shit moments. Oh, okay, things are getting really serious, and that leads to a confrontation between Yuri and Lloyd. Yuri being a bit of a Terminator here.
Yeah, Yuri was nuts these episodes.
Always getting back up, super resistant to Lloyd's attack and so on. It was crazy. Like Lloyd even contemplates killing him, which would have been the safest thing to do for the mission, but he can't go through with it because he's thinking of the grief this might cause Yor, of course. Because
and then if that comes back around to Yor, that her quote unquote husband killed her brother.
Yeah, exactly. But I wonder, do you think he is worried that might ultimately endanger the mission, or is it because he has already developed feelings for Yor and that's why he can't do it?
I wonder if it's a little of both, honestly.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I could see it being a little of each, but maybe at this point more about the mission. But I think there's a little bit of that he actually cares about Yor in there as well. I mean, it's clear clear he cares about Yor and Anya to a degree.
Absolutely. I mean, the show has teased that before, like these moments where they have like this family bliss moment, right? That he never had. Like, he had shitty dad. I mean, he apparently had a decent mom, but was robbed of both of them pretty quickly, and was part of the military early on, even earlier than he was allowed to, and so on. So he didn't really have much of a real childhood and everything, and people he was emotionally connected to for a long time. And these moments of peace and tranquility and feeling safe and protected that he experiences with Anya and Yor, the show already shows us that this is doing something to him. That this is making him causing a change to his character. But you're right. We don't know if that already has progressed so far that he is now doing this because he wants to protect these two people outside of the mission, or not mainly because of the mission, but because he cares for them, or if it's still mostly the mission why he's doing it for. The show plays a bit with that. So I'm really interested to see when we're gonna get the definitive like confirmation that he is doing that because he's doing what he's doing because he has started having feelings for his like made up family. And my assumption is this will probably happen by the point, whenever that will come, when he would have to kill Yor to save his mission, or have to tell Weiss that she is an assassin from the other side. And I don't know, something like that. I would assume that would then lead to the final confirmation that he can't go through with that because his family means more to him than his mission at some point. Or where he has to decide between the mission, a definitive moment where he would risk a mission by doing something to protect Yor and Anya, which I don't think we have had yet. Until now, I think protecting them always has aligned with protecting the mission. And I wonder when we'll get a moment where that is not the case anymore, where protecting them will actively, massively endanger the mission. So, very interested to see when we will go for there, get there. But this season at this point is not over because we have the final confrontation with the guy who stole the list with Wheeler, not Joey Wheeler. I forgot what his first name was, but the last name was Wheeler, I think.
I don't remember if they ever say his first name, but
yeah, maybe it's just Wheeler. They have like, this long chase. Fiona chases and some other Wise agents chase after him, and they end up in the sewers where Lloyd already is with his confrontation with Yuri, who he knocks out ultimately. And then, Wheeler manages to subdue Lloyd, and it looks like he has him in a hold and would be able to kill him by snapping his neck, I think. And with that, Fiona has him at gunpoint, but then he has Lloyd hostage. And of course, Lloyd is Fiona's only weakness, which doesn't matter though, because he hurt the one thing she loves. So he gets an arm-breaking punch to the face.
Yeah, the limiter just gets turned off entirely.
Literally. Like, the show actually is like, hey, most people have a limiter because if they would use their full power, they would seriously hurt their body. That woman's limiter just got turned off.
Fiona's like, nah.
No, that isn't happening. You bitch. Oh, man, I love Fiona so much. Like, she's so awesome. Sorry, Yor, but she's absolutely the best girl of the show. Like, the way her arm breaks in multiple places because she puts so much force into that punch. Man. It's brutal.
Oh, God.
It's so gross.
It's so so awful. I saw that. I was like, oh.
Yeah. But man, that's how that episode ends, with that first punch. And in the continuation of that scene in the next episode, we get a cool vocal track exclusively to her, I guess. Amazing. Like, get yourself a girl that is willing to punch your enemy so hard that she dislocates her shoulder.
Right.
And you're set for life. Man, I love Fiona. She's amazing. I really would love if Lloyd and her ended up together, even though I know that is not gonna happen. Of course, he and Yor are gonna end up together, and he's gonna fully adopt Anya and everything, and they're gonna be a happy little family. That's how this show must end. But still, I wish all the luck in the world to Fiona, and if she can't be with Lloyd, I hope she finds someone else she's happy with, or she's happy alone by that point. But hey, I just want her to be happy because she's amazing. Every scene in this show with Fiona is great. She's my favorite character. I can't help it. And this cemented that once again, because goddamn, that punch against Wheeler, both punches. No, was the other one a kick? No, one punch, one kick, and another haymaker with a broken arm that she delivers to.
Yeah.
So fucking good. Goddamn.
We ended on chapter 89 of, I think the latest is 131, which looks like it released just today, actually. So the story continues, and you never know what might happen.
Yeah, I worry. I mean, it would be cool, but I feel the show is all about them becoming a real family, and I don't see how Fiona would figure into that unless she's content with pining for Lloyd forever and just being in a rivalry with Yor forever. This could also be the case, and being at the end of the show, I will win him to my side, Yor forger. You will not get him ultimately, and if it takes me until the end of my life. It's maybe they will end it like that, but I doubt it.
I mean, I could definitely see her doing that, so.
Yeah, we'll see. But it's probably going to be a long while until that happens. So, hey, this was a great season of Spy Family, man. Hey, this finally delivered a lot of the stuff that I've been complaining or clamoring for since the first season, where it's hey, I would like to have a bit more plot in this, and especially plot that relates to the main mission. And we definitely got that. We got that with the first arc with Lloyd's backstory. Then we get the bus abduction, where the introduction of Damien's mom and all the weirdness that comes with that. We get now there is a small. They kind of diffuse that by the end, but there is probably now this seed sown into Yuri's mind because Lloyd got hurt in the fight, and there's this small moment where Yuri suspects Lloyd for having a cut on his arm from their fight, and of course Lloyd has masked this with some kind of concealment agent and so on, but that idea has now been placed in Yuri's head, even if he said, it's ridiculous, that can't be happening, and so on. But is it? Or will he go back to that eventually?
The idea is still there.
Yes, you can't undo this. And there are a lot of neat little setups in this season that are happening with the shopkeeper too. It's oh man, I don't think Lloyd's position is as safe as it was last season when it comes to people not finding out who he is. And man, that's really interesting. I like that. I like that the season finally went into shit like that, and things are getting more tense, and we're getting closer to. We're opening up more options into getting closer to the Desmond family and everything. So I hope the show keeps up that kind of pacing. It would be a bummer if it now went back to more of the sitcom shenanigans only instead of going for the plot-driven stuff. But hey, if this is what we're gonna get from Spy Family in the future seasons, I'm so in, man. That's gonna be amazing. That's exactly what I wanted from this show. A good mix between some fun shenanigans and then have plot-driven stuff that does need setups for future developments. And yeah. Ugh.
I do wonder Let me look at the number of chapters here real quick. How much further out they're willing to wait before they pick back up? Because we're about 40 chapters out from what's current, and we cover 10, 20, about 30 chapters with this season. So if we jumped back in with the same pace, we'd get caught up real quick, and there'd be a lot more waiting to do on the next season after that.
I mean, that would be fine too. And I mean, they can throw in a movie in between if they want to, because what was it called? Code White was completely anime original, and if they want to have like, hey, anime original stories, they can do that in that way and be like, hey, so you don't have to wait for the TV series the entire time, and there's something more to carry you over until the next season comes. So we'll see. But also, it doesn't seem like the manga is really releasing at a super slow pace, right?
Yeah, because today is March 30th. Which is when Mission 131 released, and the previous one released 2 weeks before. So I guess if Tatsuya Endo is going at that pace of a chapter every 2 weeks.
Yeah, and it will be a while until the next core is going to happen anyway. Like, how long did we of a break did we have between 2 and 3? Was that two seasons or 3 season break?
Let me see here.
It was a while.
The first season was 2022. The second season was 2023. So there was there was 2 years in between season 2 and 3.
So 2 years for 30 chapters. So, hey, by the time they have adapted the next 30 chapters, the manga will probably be ahead more. Or enough for them to also be able to be. They will catch up eventually, of course. But hey, maybe they'll take also a 3-year break this time.
This isn't me. This is not me saying Tatsuya Endo needs to work faster. No, this is me worrying about, just the amount of material, and if they run it too fast, and then people get too cranky about having to wait for the next thing. Which, shut up, by the way.
Exactly. Just give the shows as much time as they need, right? And I'd rather have that than have like 1 chapter per episode bullshit.
No filler, please.
One piece enough. Yeah, and I mean, filler, sure, okay, in movie form, totally fine, but please not in the show proper.
Like I guess there were some actual chapters in the manga that were filler, just quick little gag things, like in particular the moon landing episode. That was just like a little throwaway side chapter that was like, oh, let's let Anya and Ewan geek out about going to space. And it's like, okay, that's cute, that's neat, you can throw that in there every so often, that's fine.
And I mean, that totally fits the style of the show of being partially a sitcom, right? You can do that. The problem is when it becomes only that. At least for me, that's the problem. For other people, it might not be, but I like my plot-driven anime. I like there to be, when there is at least the potential for it to be a plot that gets continued, that gets progressed steadily. It was one of the problems I had with the previous season of Spy Family. There was enough interesting in there in regards to basic setup, but the show kind of tread water a bit at times. It meandered a bit, and it didn't feel like it was super interested in actually progressing that part beyond, hey, now Anya has to do this in school to get closer to Damien or whatever. But the missions itself didn't feel like they have a real integral part into progressing the actual, main mission. And now I finally get the feeling, oh, now we're getting there. This is now... shit is happening, and shit is gonna happen in the next season, and there are new setups that make things more tense, and we're gonna have more actual dangerous situations for all our characters, and we'll see more secrets uncovered, and people and Lloyd and you're in danger of being found out for who they are, and that's the exciting part. That's what I want. I want that tense dramatic moments in there, and then you can have some fluffy in between sitcom shenanigans with Anya and everything, and I don't know, Bond, of course, Bond. We always want Bond.
More of the doggo.
More of the doggo. So, yes. Like I said, this, in regards to structure, pacing, flavor in general, this was the best season of Spy Family for me. Just in terms of what it did. Not necessarily like it had the best episode or something like that. Like the tennis match in what's the second season of the show was amazing. Like fantastic. Like I loved that episode to bits. I just in terms of complete season thing. Like everything the season had to offer, I think this was the best so far. Just a really high baseline in terms of quality, in terms of what was happening, in terms of pacing, everything. A really, really, really good mix that I have been wanting from the show for a long time. So, hey, I hope this is how it continues. I hope this is the flavor we're now stuck with. And yeah, definitely give me more of that.
Yeah, as like a complete package, this was probably the tightest and best paced of the seasons so far, which is not to say seasons 1 or 2 were bad, but no. This one kept us going at a really good pace and kept feeding us. It kept feeding us the good stuff, man.
Yes, keep feeding us the good stuff. We are hungry. And with that, we're done with the reviews for this season. But as usual, there's still one little thing we have to do. Best of the season. All right, best of the season time, John. I have more shows than you that are potential candidates. So why don't you go? Why don't you go first?
One Punch Man season 3.
Not in a million years.
I would have loved to say that, but so much bad overshadowed the good in that season. It's such a shame to see, but.
There were some good parts in that season. There were some good bits in there. Definitely. There were some good fights. There were some good moments, but there was so much bad stuff in there too.
It just was so outweighed by that. And it's like, ugh.
Yeah. Completely overshadowed it. Yeah.
Did we mention how the key visual for season 3 part 2 was literally just them taking the layers on the season 3 part 1 and just switching them around?
Yes.
Now Garo and Saitama are facing each other instead of facing away from each other. Like, shut up.
The laziest shit.
Seriously. I could do a better job
if they used AI for the fucking poster.
Oh, I'm certain they used it for some of the animation, but anyway.
Maybe. I don't know.
To talk through this has to include some of the Quick and the Dead stuff as well, just because I enjoyed touring after the apocalypse, and it had me, like I said, it had me with a lot of questions that I still want answered. Not sure. Not sure if I would name that as my favorite of this season. And, Ranma, but that and, well, here's the problem. That Ranma and Spy Family all have the potential to come back. Like, Spy Family is for sure.
Of course.
There's no word on touring or Ranma yet, but I could see them at some point down the line coming back. Ranma was handled, I believe by Wit Studio, and they always have their hands full with everything.
No, Ranma was Mappa, right?
Was it Mappa? What's the thing in that was Wit Studio that I'm getting confused about?
The one we reviewed last season.
Yaiba. It was Yaiba. Right. But yeah, well, then in that case, Mappa has their hands even more full than Wit Studio at any given point.
Yes, usually they do.
So, they got to get through, even though we haven't talked about it yet, they got to get through Jujutsu Kaisen, the Culling Game Part 2, which is still TBD, and whatever else is on their plate. I don't know what else is on their plate at the moment, but there's that, and there's any number of other things, as they do a lot. So that's probably coming back at some point. Touring after the apocalypse, I don't know if that's coming back or if it will, because there's been zero news on that. And Spy Family for sure we'll see again. I don't know. I guess.
What does your heart say? What did bring you the most joy this season?
Maybe, I guess I'd be willing to give it to Touring After the Apocalypse, just because I thought it was interesting in concept, and they did some neat stuff with like the traveling and some of the encounters that Yoko and Irie got into. The mystery behind maybe Chisote's alive, maybe she's dead. We don't know. Do you? So,
yeah, it sounded like interesting setup, but it also sounded like you were a bit unhappy with not getting any answers so far and still waiting for the other shoe to drop.
And maybe that'll happen, and if it doesn't, I feel like it was at least enjoyable for what it was, because I could drop it on Spy Family real easy because that was such a good season.
Safe choice, yes.
But yeah, again, safe choice, and I've already done that before where I've given the same show the award more than once. I love Golden Kamuy. I love it to death. But even though it still hasn't ended, even though the season just ended, I still want to see how it concludes before I'm like, I want to say, yes, this is, it has the potential to be one of the GOATs. So I'm willing to say for now, in spite of my misgivings, that I really enjoyed Touring After the Apocalypse a lot. And if it comes back, hey, that's cool. If it doesn't, then, we got a neat little show with some mysteries to it that I guess if you don't go and read the manga, you can fill in the blanks with your imagination.
All right. Touring After the Apocalypse it is. For me, I have a lot of safe choices. Spy Family. I mean, definitely not One Punch Man Season 3. We just elaborated on that. But Spy Family delivered a lot of the stuff I was asking for this season. And it would have been totally justified to put it once again on Throne. Gachiakuta and My Hero Academia would have been the safe bits in regards to shonen action, which is my, wheelhouse. One, a promising newcomer. One, the finale to a series I've at least liked, if not loved, for most of its runtime. So, yeah, definitely all valid contenders. But since I also love to go with the weird shit wildcard, I'm going to give it to Sanda because this is just, this is one of those shows that is so unlike most of the stuff that you see from anime these days. In regards to themes, in regards to design, in regards to animation, topics, attackers, what have you. And I should have known that it would be that, considering the author and what Beastars is and everything. And we're still gonna talk about the final season of Beastars. And so...
Right, I need to watch that still.
Yeah, there you go. And so I'm like, hey, this is weird shit, and I love it for that, and I love that it's something different, and it makes me feel something different and think about different things, and I'm really interested to see where it goes. I really can't tell, because like I said, the setup of the show, or part of the setup of the show is kind of fulfilled at the end of the season. So I wonder where. I have no idea what will go from here. I have some guesses, I guess, but that doesn't necessarily have to happen. So super excited, and I'm really happy the manga is over. So I'm pretty sure Science Star is going to give us a full adaptation of this. Hopefully, they're also doing the new Ghost in the Shell anime. So. They also have their hands full, and I'm looking forward to that a whole damn lot. First real adaptation of the manga, and then handled by them. That's crazy. So yeah, definitely one of the most anticipated shows in the coming seasons. But yeah, for this time, I'm gonna give the best of the season award to Sanda because it's just such a wacky, wild concept. And what they do with that is interesting, and it's sad, and it's funny, and it's crazy, and I really liked it. And it's short, like the first season here. It's 12 episodes in and out, and you will have a good time if you're willing to let anime get weird, and it gets it does that very much so. But I had a really good time with it. So yes, I'm giving my best of the season awards to Sanda, and that is it for this season of Anime Brain Freeze. But some of the premieres for next season have already started airing, I guess, or at least one of them. That we're interested in, and the next ones are gonna follow. So we will come back to you eventually with our impressions.
Soonish.
Yes.
Might not be for a couple of weeks because I won't be around. Oops.
Yes, probably late April. So yeah, we'll try it. We'll try to knock it out or hammer it out after John has returned, and get the sneak peek and our first review from winter season to you as quickly as possible. But yeah, until then, enjoy spring, which is coming up, hopefully. And
it's actually over 50 degrees Fahrenheit here today, so it's coming.
Yes. So yes, and enjoy everyone, and we'll talk to you later.
Take care, everybody.
And that is a wrap on the 177th episode of Anime Brain Freeze. All the music in our podcast is from the Double Dragon Neon soundtrack by the amazing Jake Kaufman. Please go to virt.bandcamp.com and check out his awesome work. Find us where all the podcasts live, but also check out animebrainfreeze.com for a review index and more. Please leave us a review and rating on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your podcast app of choice if you can. Follow us on the socials or send an email to animebrainfreeze@gmail.com. We would love to read your feedback. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you had a good time, and please join us again on our next episode. Macht's gut.
See you later, everybody. Next time on Anime Brain Freeze.
Sometimes to break the rules,
you just need to add more of them.